On the show today, we talk about vocation and how to pursue it. Our symbol today is sexuality in dreams. That's a kind of a sensitive subject. And as always, we interpret the dreams and answer the questions you sent in during the week. Welcome to the show. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams, guidance and healing. I'm Michael Sheridan, and with me in studio is Heidi Brooke, our resident medium, and that's it. Susan's on holidays this week, and she avoided a fire drill. So welcome to the real show, 25 minutes in.
And if we sound out of breath, that's because we were running back up the steps we were sent down.
Whoever surveyed where to put this building obviously was an avid mountain climber, and they forgot to leave the grappling hooks on the outside. Lots of stairs to get back up. And of course, they shunted us all the way down the road.
Yes.
So, okay. So our subject today is, well, we're going to do two subjects. We're going to cover vocation because we've got a few people actually asking us about that. So, Heidi, you're gracious enough to channel something on it. Do you want to start with that?
Sure. So I channeled this earlier today, and it's... I think it's very good advice for most people, including myself. So, a vocation takes the place of a career when you have decided that your greatest good is not to make someone else happy, not to help someone else destroy the planet for profit, not to be stuck and say, hey, that's life. Your role is to follow your own path. The whole design of career and money equals food was never the desired intention, but it has come to be the physical reality for many people. Unfortunately, the role of no money equals no food is the undesired result of that human system. For those of you and many of you listening, money equals food is not the problem, but it is the excuse you use on a day-to-day basis. There is nothing to stop you earning money and following your path. Many describe this as vocation versus career. Real justice is seen in the world when one's vocation becomes their career. Don't tally onwards thinking that your life can wait until you retire. There's no telling if you will even be able to retire when you continually give away your life source to those who use it for their own greed. We understand the difference between a business doing good and a business following a profit margin. Ask yourself which area your boss is concerned with. Now ask yourself why you have put yourself in this position. Is it so you don't starve, or is it due to the fact that you want luxuries and financial resource to enterprise what you really want to do? No one who followed their life path ever starved as a result of it. We have done everything in our power to help Heidi step onto her life path, to pursue channeling as her career, and see how the world is better for it. See how many of you rely on her abilities and her passion for delivering the messages to you to know what it is you are aiming to achieve. Humans all suffer from time to time and wander from our path. The uncertainty, the society telling you to give up, it is the same fallacy from which you see societal milestones as necessary. We can never all have the same path, though certainly we can always all help each other. That's how you should know your vocation. It is the thing you wanted to do before you groomed your institutional answer to please the gods of judgment. It is the path your dreams tell you to find and perfect. It is the service to your fellow man that friends call from you when you are not at work. It is the light inside you that burns brighter when you listen and tell yourself, this is part of me. This is who I am. And this is how I will show the world my light.
I think that's really, really good. Apart from the obvious inference that the guide you channel is obviously from an old Victorian era, with some of the words. But no one ever starved following their vocation. I mean, that's very liberating if you realise that. And then the other point I really liked was you said that your vocation is what people seek from you when you're not at work, without work.
Yes, I thought that was a very important point too. For people that know me, I've channeled since I've always channeled since the time I could talk. But, as a service to my fellow man, as this says, I've done it for family and friends since the age of 7 even. And it was only really 2-3 years ago that I decided that this is going to be my career. I relented to the feeling.
My onslaught.
Well, of course, you played a very, very important role in that too, but my guides and my dreams told me the same thing. So I can very much appreciate how this is an uncertainty for other people. But you know, when you are on your life path, when you do follow your vocation, which for me, of course, is channeling and offering those services, the world opens up to you, and you know your place in the world. There's no uncertainty. It's just really taking that leap.
Yeah, yeah. And trusting that the money will flow from you doing what you're meant to do as opposed to pursuing the money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very good. Well, we had a busy show. We had our best show ready, in fact, before the fire alarm went. And we're going to have to cut pieces of it out. And we have two callers on the line. So we're going to say hello to Janie right now. Hi, Janie.
Hi there. Thank you.
Thanks for waiting.
Thanks. I have a dream, and I don't think it's with the theme. It might be with vocation. Hope that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Seeing Ghosts, and I actually had this back in October, the end of October, a couple days before Halloween. Okay, so I was somewhere visiting my male judo friend, and I think I was at his house, and he looked smaller, and he had square, thick glasses on. He actually looked Filipino, but he's Mexican. He said his parents were going to take us where we were going. I felt like he wasn't who I thought he was. Then I was on a bus with a female friend, and then another girl on the bus said she could see ghosts. So we asked her how. The girl, she was about 10 years younger than I am, with black hair and fair skin like me. She said just to pick out something that we wanted to see a ghost in, so I picked out a house. We passed it, and at first the door was green, and then I took a look at the door, and it was a regular color. And then the door opened, but I realized that it opened by itself. And when I looked at the bottom of the door, there was like a ghost down there. And then suddenly, after I saw that, I could see ghosts everywhere as we were driving, like at the bottoms of trees. And they were in semi-formed, roundish balls with a white translucent tail. My friend and I started high-fiving each other because we were so happy we could finally see them. The next house had a ghost at the door also, but I said, why do they leave the door open? They shouldn't do that. And I asked the girl how to do it. She said, judo chop, and made a motion with her hands, and the door closed. So I said I noticed she had an energetic gift. I asked her how to use it, and also how to know what to do with the gift and with seeing ghosts. And then I woke up.
Okay, I'm going to let Heidi talk straight away on that one. That was a very straightforward dream, and it does include vocation, of course. But
yes, that's what I was getting also. One thing I've noticed about the show is callers always call in with the theme of the show. And obviously that's a universe.
Yeah, and it's worth saying you've been waiting for 10 minutes to come on air, so it's before we even read anything or said hello.
So this is about vocation, and you titled the dream "Seeing Ghosts." Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes. So I mean, it almost doesn't even need a translation in the fact that you're clairvoyant. Also, are you aware of that ability? Are you accepting of that ability is probably the correct question. And
yeah, I definitely think that I have a lot of these different kinds of abilities. I just don't really know
how to use them. In the dream, it's telling you. You're asking how to use them. How do you do this? How is it you are able to do this? And Michael,
it's said in the dream. So the first part is you have your friend who is a judo person, you said. So judo is a self-defense mechanism. So it's saying that you've got a block up or a defensive stance towards this ability. And this is normal. Most people are this way. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'd love to really be able to see spirits and know that it's real, but at the same time it scares me. And, for whatever reason. And the fears are quite often a subconscious thing. So it's hard, even though they're irrational, it's hard to put your finger on them and say, okay, I know it's this fear and I'm going to ignore it and I'm going to proceed. So that's there. The square-rimmed glasses tell us that you're clairvoyant. So you get answers from your guides through images when you meditate. But you can also see spirits. And so the dream is clear on that. But the square says you limit that clairvoyant ability too. And the limitation might simply be you get the messages, but you don't follow through on them because you're like, okay, am I making that up or what's the story? So the limitation doesn't have to be it's understandable to say to yourself, okay, should I really act on this? But when you have this dream and the dream saying clearly you do have the ability, then absolutely. Now, you're with people on a bus, so this is really good. This is about you moving forward in your life, achieving your goals, because you only get a bus when you want to go from where you are to where you need to be. So this is about you getting to where you need to be. And on the bus, you're asking about seeing spirits. So it shows that you don't really have much of a fear. Or if you have it, you're able to overcome it. So that's really good. And you high five people. The 5 says this is, the high says it's your spiritual path. The 5 says it's karma. So that's the same thing. It's saying this is part of your life purpose. And then seeing ghosts at a door is saying you need to create an opportunities, because you do it at more than one door in your life to see spirits. So you got to do, like it says at the end of your dream, energy work to get to the point where you can see these clearly and you can control it. Because you said in the dream, you're afraid of leaving the door open. And that's when Heidi teaches classes and teaches people how to be clairvoyant. And that's one of the big pieces. Before, correct me if I'm wrong, Heidi, before you ever show somebody how to do it, you do a lot of energy work.
Yes, a lot of grounding, a lot of protection.
Exactly. That's about, okay, you're the one in control of your ability, and you're the one going to open it up and you're the one going to close it down at your beck and call and not on anybody else's. But it's a really, really nice dream. Of course, what do you do with it? All we know from the dream is that it's definitely going to help you achieve your goals in life. Because you're on a bus, it's going to be something that you do with groups of people, more than likely than not. But it's something you're going to enjoy, because in the dream you're enjoying being with your friend and high-fiving. There's high spirits involved in this.
And if you haven't guessed it yet, this is your vocation. This is your calling.
So have you
use this ability?
Have you have we answered it enough? Have you questions about any other part of the dream?
No, that's great. I've been contemplating it for a long time, and I kind of knew the gift that it was showing, but it's like, what do I do with this? Like, okay, so what do I do?
Heidi, have you got a link to your blog posts on your website?
It's through my Facebook, which is Angels on the Line.
If you go to angelsontheline.com, we'll make sure there's a link to Heidi's Facebook page on that, and
there's more information there. And I'm also getting that you can see people's deceased relatives. I don't know if it's your deceased relatives, but that's in the realm of what you can see, and that's how you're to assist other people. Okay?
Yeah, that has happened to me before, and so when I've talked to somebody who I feel like I should talk to, I get mixed things. But yeah, I did see my grandfather on what happens to be my grandparents' wedding anniversary.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thanks
for the call, Janie.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now we've got Susan in Seattle, so we say hello to Susan. Thanks for waiting. Hi, Susan.
Oh, hello. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Very good.
I think I did speak to you about, 7, 8 months ago. So I did. I'm from the old country too, just like yourself.
Oh, right. Okay. Now I remember.
I recognize the accent.
Just by chance, you recognize it, huh? But anyhow, like I had this dream, and it's actually kind of a funny one in a way, because there's a dream about my mother and my sister. They came to visit me in my dream. My mother is dead, of course, but my sister's still alive. It's my older sister, and they came in my dream. They asked me, when am I going to get married? And they said, we're making plans for your wedding. And so she asked me, she said, well, you can have one beer. You can choose one beer to have at your wedding. What be? I said, it'll be Cynics, of course, my hometown. And she went on to say, then I shared with her, I said, well, I said to my mom, I said, I'm going to be starting to do, I'm going to change my career. I'm going to do real estate. And she lay down on a bench and she covered her ears and her eyes. And that was the end of the dream.
She covered her
ears.
Right.
She didn't want to hear it.
She didn't want to hear it. Right. And I'm going, oh, good Lord. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
So interesting to see another dream with career in it.
So are you going to do real estate? Is that what you said?
Yeah, absolutely. I am, yeah. I've actually started it.
And how about at the time of the dream? Had you been thinking about it?
Oh, yeah. No, I have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just had a dream here the other night. That's why I was like, oh, my gosh, this is what's happening.
Okay, so if you had already been looking at doing real estate at the time of the dream, then we ignore that side of it because it's part of reality, and we look for what's different. So your mother coming to visit you and encouraging you to get married. So fill us in.
My wedding, yes.
Fill us in there. Are you married? Were you married? What's the story?
Well, yeah, I was married, and now I'm probably, we're going on round 2. Hey, it's America, so we can have many several. I'm engaged.
Ah, excellent, excellent. Okay, so the dream is really your mom telling you that she's aware of what's going on then, because she's talking about what's part of your life as opposed to anything else. And then if she's also, like at the end of the dream when she's covering her ears, was she doing that in a joking way, or was that was she traumatized?
She was like, I just don't want to hear it. It's like, you're changing your career again, kind of.
Yeah. It's an
never going to settle down, do one thing.
All right.
My career, my lifetime. So.
And how about your sister? Is your sister in America as well?
No, they're in Ireland.
All right.
So do you have a drive to do real estate? Is this something that you've wanted to do for a long, long time?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's because that, referring to what I was talking about earlier, if this is your drive, if this is your passion, that's the career you want to do. But I'm confused as to, Michael, the fact that her mother is covering her ears, though.
Well, also on the beer. Of course, you're having Smithwick's, which is brewed in Kilkenny, correct?
Exactly right.
So,
nobody else would have except me.
So it's an ale. Because it's part of your hometown, I'm going to disregard that, because normally alcohol in a dream is either going to be, if it's spirits, it's going to be about connecting with spirits, or it's going to be about suppression of something. But because it's about where you're from and your mom is in the dream, I think it's all just, I think it's a celebratory thing in your dream. It's like, this is who you are. You're even in the dream, you're saying, this is my identity.
And is your mom from Kilkenny?
Yeah, she's close.
Okay, I think it's making the connection between, you're making a connection to your mom, literally.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, it was very, very...
So that's a really nice dream. We always want our relatives to visit us in dreams.
Yeah.
And so this was an answer, in a way, to that prayer of yours that you have.
Right, and because I thought it was strange having my mother who's passed away, but my older sister who was with her, and it's like the matriarch is coming and laying down the law. You need to get married and stop this nonsense.
Yeah, okay. Well, matriarch laying down the law, but you're going to do what you want to do anyway, and that's perfect. So, like even in the dream, it's kind of funny. If in childhood you weren't able to say to your mom, "Hey, I'm going to do this," without getting an earful, then you get the opportunity to do it in your dreams, and you do it in your dream, and she's the one that's saying, I don't want to hear it. So it's therapeutic for you. And if your older sister is very like the way your mom was, and quite often they are, and older sisters can symbolize mothers in a dream, then you get double the benefit. So it's kind of funny. We realize, even if you realize it's a dream, we still are being careful not to tread on anybody's toes, when really in a dream we should be doing anything we want. So here it's saying that you're breaking yourself free of the limitations. What about drinking alcohol? Was it your mother who said you could have a Guinness or a Smithwick's in the dream?
No, it was me. She said you can have she was making the wedding plans, and she said, well, you can choose one beer because we're only just going to give one beer, and there was going to be wine and other things, but I could have one beer that everybody would get as long as it was just one. They couldn't choose from 5 different beers.
Yeah. Okay. So that part you kind of spoiled that one because you, again, would it be in your dream? You can say it's my wedding, even though it's hypothetical. I'm going to do whatever I want. So that part shows we understand now why the beer is in it. So you suppress yourself, which is what beer normally represents, due to the influences from your mom, and at the end of the dream, you're kind of overcoming that. But that's you, me, and everybody almost, so it's, there's no, although it's very specific how we're affected in our lives, we have dreams so that we overcome those effects, just like in this dream. So it's good. The end of this dream is good. And your mom covering her ears is fine. It's, so.
I took it to be off. Good Lord.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call, Susan. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, so again, having a quick look at the clock. So what are we going to do? We have so many things we wanted to do. We get a lot of dreams all the time that we don't cover, dreams of a sexual nature. And we don't cover them because just because of the nature of those dreams. But we thought, okay, at some point we're going to have to do it. So today we're going to do it. So our symbol today is sexual activity and dreams. And I'm going to read out from page 57 of my book. This is the book I wrote in 2007, How to Interpret Your Dreams. What I've written is, sexual activity and dreams is not about reproduction. Rather, it symbolically asks you to get intimately in touch with your male side if you're having sex with a man, or your female side if with a woman. We all have male and female aspects to ourselves which have their own unique traits. For example, compassion, listening, leadership, and your philosophy of life work through your female side. Confidence, belief in yourself, feeling worthy of the space you occupy, career and spiritual healing work through our male side. The dream may be triggered due to an imbalance which is affecting your ability to develop or move forward in an aspect of your life related to a particular energy. The dream tries to heal this by representing your male or female side as something desirable. The dream wants both male and female sides of you to share closeness in an uninhibited way. This sharing restores balance so you can draw on the strength inherent in the aspect of your nature that is being repressed. Many people are shocked to find themselves having sex in a dream with a person of the same gender. This still has the same meaning. A woman having sex with another woman is still a healing device intended to put the dreamer in close contact with her heart or feelings. Dreams can also include members of the family in sexual roles with the dreamer. Here, the intent is to use an existing loving relationship as a pull to seduce the dreamer into having sex and therefore accept the healing the dream is offering. Where you are able to be honest to yourself in private but repress your feelings in public, you can dream about having sex in public. Again, the purpose of the dream is the same, but here it is also asking you to not be afraid of being honest in front of others. Another reason for dreaming of having sex is to heal you of a lack of sexual relations with your partner. Here, the dream attempts to heal the impact abstinence is having on your relationship. And I was just wondering if Eric had his hand hovering over the 10-second button, cutout button there, yeah, as I was reading that. So yeah, it is a difficult subject, but it's always an analogy. It's not about sex. I mean, rarely are things in dreams exactly what they appear to be on the surface. So let's have a look at a couple of dreams, or a few dreams, because we've gotten so many, but we'll have a look at a few dreams that show this. And here's one dream we got some time ago, and we already did the first part of it. And after we did the first part, the dreamer said, well, there was a bit more to that dream, and she sent it on to us. And I'll just refresh your memory. So the first part was, I went to Seattle and heard myself on the radio show, that's this radio show, while I was still in Ohio. Everyone was analysing a dream of mine, and I was exacerbated that I didn't make more sense or have clearer advice or answers. Michael joked about me throwing my hands up in the air. They were patient while I thought, and there was a good bit of dead air time as I processed. I noticed this while I listened from home and was impressed by the patience and attention. And we said at the time, I don't know if you remember, Heidi, the dream was about trance-channeling, and it's about getting into an altered state. So it's like there's this, there's two aspects of you playing at the same time. One side is witnessing you getting the information. So that the dream is about channeling, but it continues on, and I'm going to skip over a bit that we can't read on the air, and then get to a part that is interesting, mainly because she's picking on me here. Anyway, was getting ready to leave Seattle, and Michael was leaving too. He was getting ready and handed me the car keys to his son's car that was parked in the barn. Okay, so me handing you car keys. So if I represent giving people direction in life, or in your case, because you did my course, giving you the keys to knowing what your life is about and the ability then to pursue your life path or your vocation. You promised you wouldn't drive it unless it was an emergency. Well, of course, you're meant to drive it. You're meant to just do it anyway. And of course, your issue is, as you always put it, is what am I really meant to do? And should I really do that? And like many people, there are little things that hold you back, but they still hold you back. Anyway, yellow keychain, you say yellow is about asking you to use your enlightened intellect to overcome your irrational fears. Anyway, he kissed me goodbye and I returned the kiss. No problem. And here's where it gets interesting. Then he put his hands in an inappropriate area and I didn't like it. He wouldn't listen and I had to run away to keep from getting raped. Of course, here's where it gets difficult to interpret a dream. It's hard to stay objective when you know the people in the dreams.
And especially if it's yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So remembering then the rules of dream interpretation, and you're everything in the dream. So when you're saying, I wouldn't listen or he wouldn't listen in the dream, it's about you not listening. So you've been given the keys. that are telling you what you need to do to go forward in life, but you're not listening to what you've been told. And you'd be the first to admit this, so this is nothing new. And then, of course, you're saying you had to run away to keep from getting raped. And that, of course, is like sexual activity in the dream. And it's about you getting in intimate contact with what your life purpose is and with your channeling ability. And that's what I symbolize in your dream, because obviously I must have told you through a dream that you're a channel. This is what you need to get in touch with. But that feels very uncomfortable to you, or, as you said, inappropriate. And that's all it is. And when you understand that, that's perfect. Anyway, the dream continues on. Even though we bought us turkey deli meat for the trip, my daughter and I now felt it was all to justify raping me. I ran from him and ran outside and hid in some bushes. I felt like Heidi and her brother were looking right at me and could see me slash my hair through the branches, but they didn't out me. Sandy came home, Sandy's my partner, and I told her that Michael came on to me and put his hands on me, but she didn't act upset or cheated on. I hugged her and apologized because they were my favourite couple. And okay, that little bit. So this is about, she met you as well, Heidi, so not sure what you...
Yes, and I gave her some readings as
probably the same information. So this is good because Heidi's a channel. So this is, if you can see Heidi in the dream, it's like you can see your channeling ability. You accept that you have a channeling ability, but you're still trying to hide from it. The food for the trip is, again, like being handed the car keys. It's like you've been nourished, you know what you need to do, and you've got what you need to go on your path. And the turkey, of course, because it's a bird, can be about goals. So it's all about nourishing yourself through your goals. And then what we notice here, we have you have Heidi and her brother, and of course you never met Heidi's brother because he's not here in America. So we have man and woman. Then you have me and Sandy, man and woman. And this is common. Weddings and things like that are common in dreams about channeling because it requires both male and female energy. And your dreams, a lot of your dreams are about balancing the male side of your energy. Anyway, then you finish off with, then I was at Grandma's house deciding on how I'd fly or drive home. I decided I'd leave my luggage and only pack one pair of greyish jeans and socks. I'd fly home and pick up the luggage that I'd left at Grandma's. It felt like a genius plan. I also remember driving a mail truck to the airport with my daughter in it behind me, I think. Okay, so leaving the luggage behind would have been absolutely excellent, but you're going to pick it up at your grandmother's house and you thought that was genius, which is terrible. So the whole point of the dream is to get you to drop your baggage, which is what the luggage represents. And the baggage comes from issues when you're on your mother's side, and that's why the grandmother is here. Grandmother is probably somebody you wouldn't have baggage from, so she'd be a mother, grandmother that you have no baggage from. So anyway, they're in the dream to heal devices. And ideally, you just wouldn't pick that luggage up at all. And the dream goes full circle at the end because you say you were driving a mail truck to the airport. Now, going to the airport is about a new project or a departure in your life, always positive in a dream. And the mail truck, of course, carrying the mail or messages for people is what you are. It's the perfect symbol for a channel. So we have right at the start, it's about channeling, and right at the end, it's about channeling. So we know how it works for you. So quite a good dream. And I said to you, we were talking on the phone after this dream, and you said you had the second piece. And I was really keen to see it, best, especially because you said you were reluctant to share it. And then when I saw it, it was like, oh my God. But I had to cover it because I promised I would. But very good dream. Thanks for sending that.
Interestingly, I've had 3 people in the last month say that they've dreamt of me. And 2 of those people, I asked them, well, because you're everyone in the dream, what do I represent for you? And 2 of those people said, oh, you're a great mom. But I represent channeling, just like when somebody dreams of you, and I'm being told that many people that listen to the show, if they can channel, they'll dream of me, and if they can interpret dreams, or if they should interpret their dreams, they'll dream of you.
If their dream includes spiritual direction, I can be in it, for that. And we've included some of those dreams on the show, but that's exactly it. And there's a video on my site called The Roles Characters Play in Dreams. And this is one of the best things you can do is look at, why do I have a particular friend in my dream? Or why do I have somebody that isn't necessarily a friend, but I know what I think about them. And I know what they symbolize to me, like channeling for Heidi. And of course, the same person can be different for different people. So your friends who don't have kids probably see you as a great mom because you have 3 kids. So it's going to work that way. So you look at, why is the person in the dream? They're there because of some trait that I see in them. And because they're in your dream, it means you've got the potential to have that trait too. We deliberately haven't been given our phone number out today because our time was cut short. So apologies for that, but still 2 people got through, so that's great. So here's a dream continuing on our theme, and she calls it Finally Nailed the Waiter. Much of this dream is censored, so it's very, very short in the little pieces I have left. And she says, I have sex with one of my guides, a male, who always looks like the TV actor Danny Pina. I don't know who he is. But she says, he is almost always the waiter in my dreams, but I somehow always know he isn't that actor. Then lots, cut out. It's funny to have such standard experiences in dreams. In the dreams, I wasn't married yet, so I didn't feel guilty. I felt very happy. I've been flirting with that guide for 4 years. So this person is very spiritually aware. Actually, she's somebody who did the course as well. But through listening to the show, got in contact with us. And so what we have here, what we can tell from this, because she finally has sex with a guide, it means she is now intimately in touch with that aspect of her nature, which is absolutely fantastic. So from this dream, we can say conclusively that around the time in her life when she had this dream, everything feels great. Not just this dream. You don't just wake up from this dream. It's like, I have a handle on what my life is about. So really, really a good dream. The actor in the dream is about channeling. The waiter is about healing. So you're a healer and a channel. And so this is saying that you're intimately in touch with these. Now, you say in the dream you weren't married. Now, you are married and you have a kid. So you're let off the hook in the dream by not being married. But quite often we still are married and we don't have the sexual relations because of the fact that we're married, and we hold ourselves back. And in that case, it would be saying that you hold yourself back from being intimately in touch with your ability because of issues in your relationship. I mean, that's how simply it works. Here, it's saying your relationship is not holding you back in any way whatsoever. So kudos to your partner there. So do we have time to squeeze another one in? Any comments, Heidi? Are you screaming, stop, stop, stop? Okay, so I'm probably going to skip the next one because we have loads. Let's just see. One easy one. A guy recognized me in a restaurant at an adjacent table and thanked me for recommending an energy healing. So this dreamer sent 3 dreams, really, really short. One starts off with where she's baking a cake and stressing, and baking a cake is about reproduction. So this is actually about having a child physically, baking a cake. So having a bun in the oven, that's where the expression comes from. And that's where the analogy comes from, I should say. So here it's about that. She's having a problem in the first part of the dream. Then she has another dream where she's with George Clooney, so she's a channel, but it's also, well, let's read this one then. I'm friends with George Clooney and helped me put a stroller through a slot in a garage door. We opened it and the garage was full of things his wife wanted to save, like children's clothes, and it was very organised. She was in the kitchen with 2 jars of spaghetti sauce. So this dream is saying the whole reproductive cycle is very organised, and I've seen this time and time again in dreams, and it seems really bizarre. You'll see reproductive symbols, and then you'll see filing cabinets and things that are impeccably ordered, that if you wanted to look for anything at age 15, alphabetically under A, there it is, that sort of thing. So that goes hand in hand with the proper working order of your reproductive system. And the spaghetti jars here say, point at a problem with the ovaries, and they're saying stress, and well, what the dream is trying to say is, Heidi, you put it best. You said trying to save the part of her body that allows her to have children.
Exactly.
Is what,
and I think that's literally said in there. The wife wants to save
the children's clothes. So the last part anyway tells you what to do. So the last dream is a guy recognized me in a restaurant at an adjacent table and thanked me for recommending an energy healing. There you go. You have to get an energy healing. That's going to help you. He'd gotten one which led him to a music app on his phone. So music and dreams is about channeling, and the phone is also about channeling, but the phone tells us that you get messages through telepathy, which is thoughts impressed on your mind. So he got the music app on his phone of a new artist, and he wanted to show it to me. It was he was sitting with his wife or girlfriend, and they were very pleased with this experience. So again, we see the couple in the dream too. He had one tooth that wasn't completely straight. So the tooth again, all 3 of these very short dreams from you, all pointing at reproduction, saying get energy healing to heal it, and that energy healing is also going to help you with your channeling. But I believe your guides have already told you that this is the case. So that's why this comes up too. Anything to add on that one, Heidi, or have I integrated?
Did you mention about there's something she's doing that's disrupting the organization of her reproductive cycle, the timing of everything?
I didn't.
The release of the hormones at the right times and all. So maybe birth control. It's definitely something she's eating also, but there's something upsetting the cycle as well.
Yeah. Well, we have it covered now. So that's our show for this week. We're out of time. A really short show. The gods tried to stop us from talking about sexual activity, but it didn't happen. So that's it. We thank Eric Ryder, our producer and engineer, and thanks Heidi for all the contributions. And anything coming up? Anything? Yeah, you're not here next week.
No, I'll be on vacation for 2 weeks.
So enjoy that. You're going to Alaska.
To Alaska, yes.
We will see you next week. Take care.